Hello viewers, welcome to video tutorial on conservative and irrotational nature of electric field. I am Dr. P. Ramakrishna, Assistant Professor of Physics, Government Degree College, Kamareddy. This concept is a part of electrostatics chapter in electromagnetic theory paper of BSc Physics syllabus. Before discussing our actual topic, let us have a quick recap of what we have learnt in the previous tutorials. Electrostatics chapter under BSc Physics syllabus starts from electric lines of force, electric flux, then Gauss law statement and proof in different cases, followed by applications of Gauss law, specifically spherical charge distribution, linear charge distribution, surface charge distribution. In each of these distributions, we have studied in detail what are the cases, possible cases, what will be the expression for electric field intensity in each case. We have studied diagrammatically as well as mathematically thoroughly. Also, we have solved several numerical problems and also discussed the possible questions at university examination. Now we will move on to our topic, that is conservative and irrotational nature of electric field. Let us see how the electric field behaves as conservative field as well as irrotational field. Now, the basic concept, when do we call a force as conservative? A force is said to be conservative if the work done by the force in moving a particle from one point to another point in the field depends only on initial and final points and not on the path followed. That means if we assume any 2 points in the field A and B, if we move in different paths, in different lines from A to B, then the work done is independent of path followed. It only depends on the position, initial position A and final position B. If the force is such that it depends only on the work done depends only on initial and final position, then that force is called as conservative force. The next thing is the field. The field in which such force is acting, or the field in which a particle will experience such conservative force, is called as conservative field. We have been discussing about conservative fields from first semester onwards, from mechanics onwards. You are well aware that the best example for conservative field is gravitational field. Then another example for conservative field is electric field. People sometimes get confused that even the magnetic field is also conservative, but it is wrong. It is not conservative. Keep it in mind that the field is not conservative. Magnetic field is not conservative. Magnetic force may be proved sometimes conservative. It is different. Both are different. We will discuss it in the following lectures. But keep it in mind that magnetic field is not conservative. Magnetic force may become conservative sometimes, but magnetic field never becomes conservative. Our topic of interest is how the electric field behaves as conservative in nature. We will restrict ourselves to electric field in this tutorial. Let us consider an electric field set up by charge Q. Let us suppose that this is the charge Q and this is the electric field uh, set up by it around it. In reality, the field will not be as shown in the figure. It will be spherical. Just to have a feel of field, we have shown it abstractly, but it will be never in that shape. It will be spherical in general. Let us suppose that there is a test charge q, small q. Here capital Q is the big charge. It is the magnitude of charge is greater than the test charge. Normally we take unit positive charge as test charge. Now let us suppose that this small q is our test charge. We are testing how the field is, and this capital Q is creating electric field. Let us imagine that this test charge is at a point A in the field. Let us also assume another point B in the field. If we move this test charge along some path as shown in slide, here I have created a small animation. Have a look once again. The charge is moving along some path. Let us assume that this is path L1 and the work done is W1. It is moving from point A to point B. Let us also assume that the same particle, same test charge is again taken in a different path from A to B. See the animation, it is moving along some different path with a different path length. Let this path be L2 and the work done be W2. Okay. What is happening here? Here there is a electric field set up by charge capital Q. There is a test charge Q which is moving from point A to point B in two different paths. So in this scenario, in this scene, the work done depends only on A and B. In the case of electric field we are discussing, the work done depends on only A and B irrespective of path length and path followed. It only depends, however you take the path, either this way or straight line from A to B or in some different path, the work done will be constant, same in all the cases. So such is the case, and also it is independent of path followed. According to our definition from the previous slide, if the work done is independent of path followed and depends only on initial and final positions, then such field is said to be conservative in nature. This is only conceptual explanation of theoretical explanation of conservative nature of electric field. Let us see how it can be explained or proved mathematically. Let us assume the same electric field, same electric charge Q, which is set up in electric field around it. it is highlighted, the electric field. Let us assume that in this electric field a test charge Q which is placed at point A and there is another point B. Now in this case the charge is moved from point A to point B in some path L1 in one direction. In the previous slide it was the test charge was moved from A to B in different paths. Now here it is moved from A to B in one path. Again it is moved from B to A in another path. So as a result it is forming a closed loop. Initially it moved from point A to B, then it moved from point B to A. It is coming back to its initial position. Now let us calculate the work done in this case. We know that the electric field due to point charge is given by E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught times Q by R square, where R is the distance of point of observation. The work done in moving test charge, here in this case let us assume that it is unit positive charge. Let small q is plus 1 coulomb, unit positive charge. So the work done is given by E dot dl in moving a small distance dr. In general the work done is given as, the expression for work done is force into displacement. Here we are writing it as E dot dr because the force, electrical force is equal to QE, and since Q in our case is 1, the F can be written as E. Hence the work done can be written as, instead of FDR we can write comfortably EDR. Again I am repeating why I have written the work done as E dot dr is, the work done is F dot dr in original, but the electric force F is equal to QE. In our case the test charge magnitude is, value is plus 1, so F becomes E. Then we can write W as work done as E dot dr instead of F dot dr. Hope you have followed. So this is the work done. Work done is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught times Q by R square dot dr. This is the work done in moving a small distance dr. Our interest is to find out the work done in moving test charge from point A to point B. What do? We take integration over this path, along this path. So the work done in moving the test charge from A to B is given by integral E dot dr from A to B, which is like this. Okay. Now if we observe carefully the RHS of this equation, the Q 4 pi epsilon naught, these are the constants. The only variable in this case is R. So we can write comfortably these things outside the integration. Q by 4 pi epsilon naught outside the integration. Then it becomes integral of 1 by R square dr. If we integrate it, we will get minus 1 by R. Now if we apply the limits from A to B, we are moving on to the next slide. Remember this figure as well as this equation. What we are trying to do? We are trying to find out the work done in moving test charge from point A to point B. So if we substitute these ones, B, if we substitute it becomes 1 by RB. RB stands for position vector of point B minus 1 by RA, where RA stands for position vector of point A. So here we are going to substitute the limits. If we substitute the limits, it will be like this. The equation becomes like this. Integral E dot dr from A to B is equal to minus Q by 4 pi epsilon naught times 1 by RB minus 1 by RA. This is the work done in moving a test charge from A to B. Again, what we have done? We have moved the test charge from point B to back to A. Let us find out the work done in moving particle from B to A. What will be the change? This same expression with this RA and RB interchanged. Okay, you can do it on your own. I am writing here directly. So this is the work done in moving test charge from B to A. Only the change will be this RA and RB will be interchanged. Now what is our interest? Our interest is to find out total work done in moving a test charge along a closed path, that is from A to B again back to A. So the total work done is given by along closed path integral of closed integral of E dot dr, that is along closed path, this closed path in the figure. Observe the figure. This blue line indicates the closed path trajectory of test particle. So summation of these two. If we do sum of these two equations, LHS is written here. RHS, if we observe carefully, these things will get cancelled. Here minus 1 by RB is there. Here minus times minus becomes plus. So in this case plus 1 by RB. So these two will cancel. Similarly, in the first equation minus times minus becomes plus, plus 1 by RA, and in the second equation it is minus 1 by RA. So these two things will cancel. As a result, RHS becomes 0. So we will remain with the closed integral of E dot dr. Closed line integral of E dot dr is 0. So what does it says? From our previous slides, we can conclude that whenever the work done in moving a test charge along any closed path is 0, that is independent of path. Here it is independent of path, because if we move from one point to another point in a direction, it will be some x. If it is some x, in the backward direction, it will be minus x. So the total becomes 0. So what can we conclude is the electric field is conservative in nature. This is the mathematical explanation of conservative nature of electric field. Now let us remember this equation. We are going to use this equation in the next slide. That is closed line integral of E dot dr is equal to 0. Now if we apply Stokes theorem, what Stokes theorem say in vector calculus? It says that the line integral of any vector is equal to surface integral of its curl. Line integral of any vector is equal to surface integral of its curl. So in this equation, this is a line integral. We can replace this E as, now we are finding out line integral of this vector. Using Stokes theorem, we can replace E by curl E and line integral by surface integral. So on application of Stokes theorem to this equation, it becomes closed surface integral of curl of E over the surface enclosed by this closed curve is equal to 0. Since area is not 0, the integrand must be 0. That means del cross E must be 0. I hope you remember this operator del. It stands for I times dou by dou x plus j times dou by dou y plus k times dou by dou z. It is an operator in vector calculus. So del cross E is 0. Del cross E, it also represents that this curl represent rotation in the vector. Curl of a vector represents rotation in a vector. If curl is 0, rotation in the vector is 0. If rotation in the vector is 0, what can we say about that vector? The vector must be irrotational. So from the equation del cross E is equal to 0, we can say that the electric field is irrotational. So we have proved the electric field is conservative as well as irrotational in nature. Now this is a diagram. It doesn't show exactly, just to have an imagination it is shown. Let this charge is creating electric field here. The electric field is acting radially outward. If we move any other test charge in this electric field around this charge as shown in this dotted path, let the velocity components of the particle test charge at different places as shown in figure. Remember that these arrows represent the velocity components, not the force acting. Now how can we say this vector field as irrotational? If we look at the charge, it will create a radially outward electric field intensity here. It will create an electric field which will act radially outward in all the directions, in 360 directions, 360 degrees in space. It will create radially outward if the charge is positive charge. Now we know that the intensity or the force for that matter at any point depends on radial distance. We know that the electric field intensity at a point with separation r is inversely proportional to 1 by r square, is inversely proportional to 1 by r square. So it is dependent of position. It is dependent of position. If we take the path such that it is at a distance of r in all the direction, that is in circular path, if the particle is moving, it will be always at a constant distance from the center, that is charge. So the force acting will be same force will act on the particle in this trajectory. That means there will not be any unbalanced force it will move, it will not create any circulation, it will not create any circulation in the trajectory of the test charge. Only the charge will move, but the uniform force will be acting all along the trajectory of the test charge. This is only for our understanding purpose, it is not the true case. Let us see possible question on this topic. Again, this question is a link question for the topic we are discussing. If it is asked separately, the question will be somewhat different. In that case, the question will be, show that the electric field can be expressed as negative gradient. Remember that if this question is asked independently, it will be in the form negative gradient of potential. Okay. Now here we are discussing as a consequence of this conservative and irrotational nature of electric field. From our topic, the electric field is conservative, so it can be written as closed line integral of E dot dr is equal to 0. If we apply Stokes theorem, it becomes del cross E is equal to 0. We know that from the vector calculus, curl of gradient is always 0. Curl of gradient is always 0. Since here the curl of electric field is 0, we can express this electric field as gradient of something. So from the laws of vector calculus, we can write this electric field as gradient of some scalar function. In this case, the scalar function is potential. In this case, the scalar function is electric potential. Hence, we can say that the electric field can be expressed as gradient of potential. Actually, it is negative gradient. Here I have shown it should be negative gradient. When this question is asked as a link question to the present topic, it can be proved like this. If it is asked independently, the proof may be different, which we will see in the next tutorial. Thank you for watching this tutorial.